What you doing, podcast? I am DAC. This is the first podcast, and this is my first guest co-host,
Jordan Antonio.
Yes. Now, I've been wanting to make a podcast for a while, and he's heard me talk about making podcasts. He's heard a lot of my stories about when I make YouTube videos. I originally had other ideas for him to be on my podcast, like I have magician stuff and blah blah blah. I originally was going to do something different with my first podcast, but since he's heard the most about it, and since we are housemates, it only seems the most fitting to have him on my first podcast. And, you know, it's also nice to have a live in-person podcast for the first one, because the rest of them will probably be like through Zoom and online and whatnot. So what we will do in this podcast is mainly just have a way to introduce ourselves. First, we'll make our introductions, good old classroom style like we're students back in the day, which we still kind of are. And then we'll talk about how we met, reminisce on some memories, which will usually be catching up, but we see each other every day anyway, so we don't need to catch up that much. And then we will talk about what he likes in podcasts and what I plan on doing more with this podcast. So, first, let me just introduce myself. If you do not know who I am, because you haven't watched any of my other YouTube stuff, and you're only just now finding podcasts, because that's what you mainly listen to, like I said, I'm DAC. I am currently getting my master's in ethnomusicology in Hawaii, but I also do, like I said, other YouTube stuff. I talk a lot about anime, I play some video games, I kind of write stuff, I try to vlog. I'm pretty bad at it though, and you know, I talk about all kinds of stuff. I also recently started making these little things called bites. It's like the second Vine. Almost for the past 2 months, I've done one every single day, except for today. Anyways, so that's enough about me. You will probably learn more about me through these podcasts and my other videos you can watch. But, how about you, Jordan? How do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Jordan Antonio. I'm also a master's student at the University of Hawaii. I'm doing my master's in Asian Studies. I don't really have a life outside of school at the moment. not a ton of hobbies.
You do. You do a lot of stuff. Maybe not entertainment stuff, but a lot of interesting stuff. Because you've been places, and you've had a whole life before your master's too, which I have not. Because until I started doing YouTube, I literally only did school. Because I didn't take a break, which kind of sucked. But yeah, no, I mean. Yeah, I guess I noticed that, but I mean, yeah, we do stuff. We have a lot of interesting
now we have
stuff.
Adventures.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're going to just jump right into how we met, we met our first year of grad school. Yeah.
You sent me from some very explicit pictures on a dating app.
Yeah.
I immediately responded with all my personal information.
Yeah. And then I found you.
Yeah.
Just got right into that.
And now we've been doing this dance for almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years, yeah. And we've lived together almost those entire 3 years. Yeah. Also, that last story was a joke. We were just paired up randomly whenever we moved into our on-campus apartment.
Yeah, we sent the explicit photos after we were roommates for about a week. So.
Yeah. And they're just hanging up all over the wall because good old memories. Can't keep those in a video though, and don't really want to describe them for the audio. But no, we almost lived together all 3 years, except for the first summer afterwards, because I guess I technically cheated on you as a housemate when I went for the summer to live with another group of people. But you also left that summer to Indonesia.
Yeah, so, but I didn't live with anyone else. I stayed faithful to this housing relationship. But you know, what's in the past is in the past, and sometimes gets dug up. But it's alright. It's alright.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Problem.
But no, like right away, the first day, as soon as we get there, you moved into the apartment first. I got there. I was staying in a hostel for the first week I moved to Hawaii because I had diagnostic exams before I started But then, I don't know, either like an hour after we met, we already went out drinking. And yeah, we went to Shitakia,
Yeah.
ate some ramen, drink some kyurin. And luckily, we apparently got matched up to people we have some stuff in common with.
Yeah.
I'm a huge anime fan. You've watched anime.
Uh-huh.
It seems like you watch it less now than what you told me you used to. But yeah, we also went shopping right after.
Oh yeah. Went
Found
to
out,
Walmart.
yeah, one of the longest Walmart trips and busiest I've ever seen a Walmart because this was my first week living in a city. And we also found out we're both huge Community fans,
Yeah.
which I just finished rewatching. And yeah, it was great from then.
Yeah.
We've kind of gotten to know each other. I feel like you've gotten to know me more from my drunk rants and me just saying a lot of stuff. But I mean, I've also throughout these past 3 years met a lot of your friends, your family, and you haven't met none of mine. Only my new ones I've also made while I've been here. But then again, I've also just, spewed a lot of random drunk nonsense for you to learn about anyways.
Not nonsense.
Yeah,
Very sense.
It makes
Very
sense to
much
me
sense.
sometimes. I feel like it makes sense to other people, not that often. But what was it? Was it the first weekend after? So a whole week has passed, and then we went to karaoke
Oh,
with
yeah.
one of your other friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, karaoke was fun. That was back right when I was eating even less than I do now because I just quit being a vegetarian when I moved here. So I was not eating much, but I was still drinking plenty. So we went to karaoke, and all I had that day was a bowl of cereal. But then we brought like a 12-pack of beer.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we drank anything else at karaoke.
I think did we? Oh, I don't remember. I don't know if there was any awamori or sake there.
I don't
Yeah.
know. There wasn't any sake. I would remember
Oh
sake.
yeah, that's true.
Because I remember our other sake when I first discovered sake at Don Quixote.
Oh yeah.
That was a beautiful moment. But yeah, no, there were some snacks I know, but
Oh, at the bar we went to after, there was.
at the bar we went to after, I drank even more. I remember right before we left karaoke, everything was going great. We was singing. I was embarrassing myself in front of new people, but I was pretty tipsy and didn't care. And it was a fun time. I somehow cut my finger, sliced
Yeah.
one of my fingers on the last beer I opened. And I still don't know how I did that. But then,
blood pact.
oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
probably what it was. But I remember leaving when we discussed before going karaoke that we were just going to do karaoke, and then we were going to probably just go back because I
Yeah.
think we said we had stuff to do.
Yeah.
And then we were leaving while I had my bloody finger trying to keep it from making a mess. We were just like, yeah, we're going to go to a bar afterwards. And it's like, this wasn't part of the plan. I'll drink a whole bunch. And it's like, no, it'll be fine. He's like, you're right, it'll be fine. We went drinking, and then more people showed up. I felt like a dork because I think I just brought a backpack, is what we brought our beer
yeah.
in. So
Yeah.
we were at a bar with an empty backpack, having to carry that around. But then all the people knew and that came were super cool because they kept buying us drinks. I think I maybe bought one or two, but the rest were given to me. I'm pretty sure most of them were by people you knew. I hope. But I don't know how the night went for you, but for me, at some point, I was making a lot of trips to the bathroom, I remember. I was trying to sober up because I could feel myself getting sick, so I went outside, met some random dude out there, and started talking about Legend of Zelda. Don't know how that happened. He was a cool dude. I don't remember who he was. If I remember, you found like two other Japanese chicks or something like that you were talking about some kind of thing or
Oh, yeah.
event or whatever. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because after that, I came in and then threw up in the trash can right next to the bar and got kicked out.
And everyone saw what you had for or your only meal for that day.
Yeah, maybe. My meal was heavily diluted by all the drinking I did. But yeah, then according to you, I left, jumped in someone's car,
Yeah.
which I know I caught an Uber, which I'm pretty sure was also my first Uber. Second time I caught an Uber in my life, and then somehow made it home.
Yeah.
What did you do? Because I was out of it pretty much most of the night. Whatever happened from your point of view?
I just remember us getting to the bar, never being able to find this bar again.
That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, we never found
yeah.
it again.
You know, it's like a brick bar that we just can never find. I think you can only find it when you're intoxicated
Maybe.
or been singing if you're high on karaoke
Yeah.
for 5 hours.
Which
And
we've
then-
done a few times and still haven't found it though.
Yeah.
We think we've passed by a few times,
Yeah.
but never too sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we got there, and then I think Jay, my friend who I was in Japan with, he's the one that like ordered the first round, and we started going in. And I kind of forgot that I was talking to those two from Japan. Yeah, about like some event. I think one of them was debuting as a bartender or something, and she was trying to get like people to come check it out, which we didn't do. But
Yeah, was the event, was that your event or was it one of their events? Because I think it was maybe one of them.
yeah, it was one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after after the security guard told us that the beloved host needed to go, we all went outside, and then everyone was asking about you, asking if
Yeah.
he's all right, and then I was like, yeah, I think he's pretty good. And then that's when all of a sudden we see you look down at your phone and you just jump in someone's car, and then they're like, dude, is he okay? Does he know that person? I was like, I'm pretty sure he ordered that. And I tried to call, but I think you were beyond reach at that point.
Yeah, I think it's, if I remember correctly, I think it's because my phone died not long afterwards. So, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably would have felt a lot more embarrassed about that if I ever saw any of those people again.
Yeah, we never
Yeah,
did a second karaoke night.
we never did. Maybe my fault.
Nah, we were in Okinawa together. There was plenty of of those kinds of karaoke nights.
But I mean, we've had more karaoke nights and more
Yeah.
drinking. I just never did any of that, and it was. I guess this is the first. It was the first time I got sick in public, but I went to bars a lot. You've heard a lot of the stories. I probably went to a bar almost every day, especially after just days that I didn't want to deal with. But that's also because that bar was like probably a 10-minute walk from my house,
Yeah,
and
in Tennessee.
yeah. So, in my undergrad, I was younger and dumber. And guess I was still coming off of that young and dumb. And then that night was like the reality of like, I guess I have to be somewhat of an adult and can't go around in public being drunk and throwing up places. And I don't know, I may have thrown up and a little bit at other times. I don't remember. But
And you should have came to Zippy's with us after.
oh yeah,
would've-
I didn't know what Zippy's was at the time though, and now I've been to Zippy's a few times since.
It's very good junk food.
I don't think I ever had it while I was drinking.
Yeah.
They do have the good Korean chicken.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's the only thing I've ever gotten from there though.
one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was our first week, so I was definitely trying to make an impression, and I probably have been able to keep that impression going for nearly 3 years.
Strong drinker.
Yeah.
Strong partier.
I try.
Yeah.
And by try, I mean I don't try. It just happens. But no, since then, oh man, we've had a few things here.
You had some good parties, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've also well, oh man, when was it? No, I mean, we have
Oh
had some
yeah,
good parties because there was your birthday where we went on the pirate ship.
yeah.
That was probably the most fun
That was
we've
super fun.
had. And then there was a lot of people here that night, and we played a lot of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've had good times these past 3 years.
Yeah.
A lot of reminiscing we could do. But, oh man, well, it's happened in the beginning, or at least the first semester.
Okay.
Was it pretty chill for the rest of the day?
I mean, we checked out local bars every once in a while, like
Yeah.
Rock Bottom,
Mm-hmm.
Beer Lab,
Oh yeah, Beer Lab.
and
When did we go to Piggly Wiggly? Not Piggly Wiggly, that's the store. Tipsy Pig.
that was our first year too.
Was it?
That was with Ray's friends, right? Or was that a
Yes.
different name?
Yeah, that was a race.
That was Ray's friends, yeah.
Piggly Wiggly. We do Piggly Wiggly still exist? Do you know what Piggly Wiggly is?
No.
Oh, it's like a little grocery store.
Oh,
a lot.
okay.
They're in the South a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, no Tipsy Pig. Yeah. And then Tipsy Pig 2 eventually. Oh yeah, and we couldn't find it again because it closed for like renovations or something.
Yeah. They had
And
really good bar food too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was what the is that the kimchi fried rice?
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
And when we had that bartender that was faking being drunk,
Oh yeah.
like she was perfectly fine 1 second while serving us. Then she goes down to people on the other side of the bar, and she's suddenly just drunk and acting dumb. I was like, okay. I mean, I guess she's doing her job and getting people to want to buy more. However, that kind of marketing works. But yeah, it was. I mean, she was fine with us.
Yeah.
Got our four horsemen,
Oh yeah.
where I could prove my drinking ability even more. And then
Yeah,
I think that was the night stopper for most people.
Four Horsemen sounds like it would stop anything in its tracks, unintended. Yeah.
It was good. I like that.
Yeah. That was,
Oh, that was also the first time I drank soju.
oh yeah. We got the what flavors did we get?
I don't even remember.
Maybe Malona.
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah.
at all.
After the Four Horsemen.
I think we. I think that was
It was
Four Horsemen
before.
was. Was it before?
Oh no, Four Horsemen was after the Slip.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't remember anything post.
I don't remember anything post either.
Well, we took Ray's friend back.
Mhm.
Ray's two friends back. And he was feeling pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody was. People like just for caution, if you ever drink with me, don't try to keep up with me.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
There's been a lot of
Disclaimer.
people that do not feel well afterwards. And if I'm feeling particularly competitive, I will not feel well either. Especially if I'm competing with myself. Bad idea for me always. But yeah, fun. Oh yeah, our first year, there was a lot of stuff that happened. Oh man, it was a weird introduction to me coming to Hawaii in my first year. Because we had the missile alert
Oh yeah.
at the beginning of the
Yeah.
spring semester.
Uh-huh.
Wow. And then the volcano also erupted.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's flooding in some areas, I think Kauai.
Yeah.
There was a fire that caught out on campus near our apartment.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then
it,
everything went black.
Yeah, it took out the power.
It was the second time I think I made a fool of myself because we went to another bar that night too, and I broke a glass.
Is that rock bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt bad about that. I tipped well, but no, we have a lot of memories. I think we
Yeah.
forget about them, so maybe it's kind of like catching up.
Yeah.
Because even though we see each other every day, it's not like we're like, "How are you today?" Which
Yeah.
I feel like would just maybe be awkward, but maybe that's something you need to ask people every now and then, even
That's
if
true.
you feel like you do see them.
Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, that's a lot of reminiscing we need to do. Maybe we'll have a whole wildest moments, funnest moments, worst moments. I don't know. There's a whole lot of stuff we could talk about.
You can
But
Skype in Ray too.
oh yeah, we could
Yeah.
do something like that. We have a lot of friends we could talk to.
Yeah.
Which is part of the reason why I made this podcast to begin with. My whole goal with making a podcast was to bring in people I knew, to reminisce, to catch up with, uh, and explore some topics that I have in common with them. There's reasons I became friends with people.
Yeah.
Talk about those reasons. Talk about our interests, and make a podcast of it. Do you watch any podcasts or listen to any podcasts?
Yeah. I've been listening to certain language podcasts.
Oh
Yeah. Like just help with listening skills. Um, Outside of that, let's see. Oh, I would listen to one called, what was it called? Brew Theology, I think.
Um,
I think I may
that
have
sounds
mentioned
cool.
this one. Yeah.
You
So
may have.
yeah. So yeah, since the topic that I'm focusing on in my MA has to do with religion in Indonesia, there's this podcast where these group of friends bring on either religious leaders or academics in various fields of religion, and they drink together and talk about theology, basically.
No.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's the only ones I've been listening to recently. What about you?
I also started listening to a language one to help with
Yeah.
my Ilocano, and because I know the people who made it. I mean, maybe I've been thinking about, like, I don't know if you would call it collabing, but like getting some of those people to be on this podcast
Yeah.
if it goes anywhere. But besides that, they're kind of random. It's since I've gotten more into YouTube and I watch more YouTubers. Whenever I see a podcast they do, I watch like I watch the two podcasts Funhouse does.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes what other podcasts have I watched? Mainly, oh, um, Joel McHale and
Oh,
Ken
and jump.
Jones. Their podcasts I've been watching some because they're good and
Oh,
like,
nice.
and it makes sense because I've just finished Community.
Yeah.
So whenever I watch some of their podcasts. But yeah, I watch the Midnight Gospel, which is like an animated
Yeah.
podcast, and that I think was the newest thing that I watched and like make me really want to do a podcast. Because when I started my YouTube channel, part of it was to make videos and eventually lead that up to a podcast. Where I guess this is now me leading it to a podcast. Because I've been wanting to do it for a while, and then I think I had other friends. I know one who moved here to Hawaii also. He had a podcast a few years ago talking about music and stuff he did. I know I have a couple other friends that are trying to start one, or have. I've heard them talk about it. And then I was like, man, I've been wanting to do a podcast. I finally got to do it. But I just got to find people. Because, like, a one person podcast can be interesting if you're the right person. I don't know if I'm the right person to do a one person. That's why I make all those other YouTube videos. Because I could talk and say a whole bunch of stuff that would amuse me and that I would be interested in and I would understand. But I think an hour, even maybe only half an hour, people would get lost or just, maybe not get as interested in. So I was like, I won't guest or co-host or guest co-host every week. Maybe bring back the same people whenever I have more topics. But I do want to be topical, even though I like these reminiscing and these like memories. I do want to talk about video games. I'm playing, they're playing. Uh, if any of them read any manga, that'd be cool to talk about. Uh, Anime, especially. And I've had all these ideas. Like I said, my original idea for a podcast was a podcast with you about the magicians.
Yeah.
Because you are one of the only people who watches the magicians and is caught up. One of the other being my mom, and I don't know if she would ever do a podcast. Even though it might be amusing. We'll see what happens when we get to that point. But yeah, besides that, I'm not really watching too many other podcasts. I only really watch them if I know who's doing it or if it's something I'm genuinely interested in. But podcasts are nice, especially when you have an audio version and you can just listen to it in the background while you're doing other things.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I do with the video podcast. I don't really listen to that many audio ones. I mainly watch them. But my goal with this podcast is to, one, do it for my YouTube channel, and then also do some audio versions. I'm looking at Anchor, and then from there I think I can get it streaming on Spotify and then Google Podcasts.
Nice.
So we'll see where this goes. But yeah, it's mainly just finding people who want to do it out of the goodness of their heart and just amuse me. Maybe take an hour, hour and a half of their day just to chat, catch up, talk about whatever I feel about talking to them about. And even though I make some kind of list of topics I want to talk to, sometimes they don't always get followed, and I kind of just start rambling off. I also don't want this to be like an interview, so I'm trying to avoid it being that. I'm also not wanting it to be as one-sided as this one has been, kind of. But this one was intentional. And I told you that before we started.
Right.
That I was using you as just a second person to be here for the first podcast, so I could have someone to talk to, so I could have a way to introduce this podcast. And then you contribute too, so that's good. That way I'm not talking to a wall or just to no one. And it's nice. And it's nice to just have, someone else to talk to. And to finally have another person show up in my video or anything else I'm making. Yeah. Hey. But, oh man, I am interested to see how well a podcast does with people that aren't in entertainment. Even though I'm like making a podcast from nothing, I haven't really watched or listened to too many other podcasts that are starting from nothing. You only watch people who have an established podcast or have like celebrity guests. And there's a bunch of celebrities with podcasts, and I watch them mainly. So it'll be interesting to see where I can go from nothing, and maybe I'll get to something.
Yeah, a celebrity.
Yeah, and with a podcast, I feel like it isn't going to be too focused either, since I am interested in a lot of stuff, and I talk about a lot of stuff. Like my videos I make every day. Each day is a different topic. And I feel like this podcast isn't going to have like a theme. It will usually probably be pretty lighthearted. And it'll be more about entertainment and things that entertain us. But I mean, eventually I do want to get people I know that are working on their own projects, whether it be serious issues they're confronting, or just like silly stuff that maybe they're also doing their own podcast, and this is just the two of us using each other to promote each other, which I'm kind of doing. That's why you have guests, is to get more people on board with what you're doing. But yeah, I want it to be kind of fun and something just nice and lighthearted to listen to something that could actually have some serious, real life reality relation to.
Yeah.
That was a lot of words that may have not made sense.
Made sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to do with this podcast. I don't know.
It's a good goal.
Is it a good goal?
Yeah. Do you think you'd ever animate your podcast?
If I always wanted to learn how to do animation, but I suck at technology. And as far as I know, you need to know how to use technology to animate stuff. Maybe I could do an entire flip book and just record me doing the flip book, I guess. No, animation would be cool. It would be really cool to do an animation of anything, really. But, oh man, one, I can't draw. So even if I did animation, it'll probably look terrible. Unless I was able to actually, like, define a style and say, no, this is just my own style. It's not bad, it's just unique. Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't call Picasso bad, because it's his own style.
Yeah. People can interpret it however they want. People have different tastes, which is kind of why I make all the different kind of videos I make. I mean, I've said this in videos before, but I make all my videos for myself to amuse me because I talk about stuff I like. And I'm also making this podcast because it's something I wanted to do. I'm going to talk usually about stuff I like. I bring on people I like, my friends. Yeah. But I like my friends, so I'm going to try to talk about stuff they like too, or stuff they're doing. But yeah. We'll see what I can do with this.
Yeah. I think it's a cool project.
Yeah, and it'll be a way to make something that's all about me, not all about me. Because I talk about me a lot, and my thoughts, and what I think. I want it to be, I don't know, a way to hear what other people think.
Oh, yeah.
For, just a change of pace. Because I know a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff. And I feel like I'm not good at keeping in touch with people. But I do hear about the things they do. And I want this to be a way to find out more about that stuff.
That's cool.
And let them know I am paying attention. Even if I'm not keeping in touch.
Yeah, because your friends kind of scattered all over the place, right? After undergrad?
Yeah, we all went and did our own things, all other places. And, of course, I think they're interesting because most of my friends are all music people because we went through our same undergrad. And so they're doing a lot of music stuff. Or maybe they're doing other entertainment stuff. Maybe they're teaching. There's a whole lot of stuff I could talk about with them.
Yeah.
But then, also hoping they will bring their own people into it. Maybe kind of start this web of connectivity, which is a paper I wrote about for a different reason. But, yeah, that's kind of the goal I plan on doing with this.
Yeah, you never know who we're going to catch in that web.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully something cool will come out of this. But, yeah, I think that's about it. I know you don't really do anything, but normally I would have my guest co-host be like, "Where can we find you?" But I know where to find you.
Yeah. Right down the hallway.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you don't really do much social media stuff either.
Yeah, I don't. I keep saying that, when something new happens, this is gonna be the thing that prompts me to actually be active on social media. Yeah, and then I just, like a creep, just keep strolling.
Yeah, I'm not that great on social media either. I've been trying to force myself.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know when we'll do it. So maybe sometime soon, whenever, we'll find you on another one of my podcasts. But if you do like what you've heard on this podcast so far, go ahead and give me a like. If you do want to follow me, see where I'm doing, I'm on all kinds of social medias. I have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me on by all of that is DAC Stories. Some of them have underscores, some of them don't. I do not remember off the top of my head which one's which because I never have to sign into anything anymore. It does it for me. But yeah, follow me on that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're doing all that. If you're listening to audio version, follow me on whatever platform you're using and however that works. But until then, I am DAC.
I'm Jordan.
Thank you for watching and bye.
Bye.